Hi everyone, welcome back to part 9, the final part of the Book One Cozies Club chapter by chapter for Christmas Cowbells, the first book in the Buttermilk Creek Mystery series by Mollie Cox Bryan. I'm Di and this is my audio-only reading vlog for this book. Today I will be reading chapters 49 through 54 and sharing my thoughts with you along the way. Due to the nature of this reading vlog, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't read these chapters yet, I suggest that you not listen to this recording until you do. If you would prefer to hear my general thoughts on this book in its entirety, keep an eye out for my Book One Cozies Club series First Impressions video, which will be posted shortly. So we are in our last part of this book. I am looking forward to seeing how this investigation wraps up. I'm looking forward to seeing who the culprit was and what the motive was. Like I had shared with you yesterday, I don't really have any solid ideas, though I have shared with you a few of my thoughts about who might have done it, why it might have been done, some reasons I thought things could have been done. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how this all ends. Very interesting about Tilly being back, so we should get more information on what she knows. And obviously Bryn is in a pickle right now, so I'd like to see how that all ends up as well. So I'm going to dive into chapter 49 right now, and I will be back with you in a bit. So I just finished the book. I did mention a few episodes ago that I thought Frank was suspicious, and it turned out that he was the culprit. Nothing about the Underground Railroad, which I thought might have been used for drug trafficking, but it definitely had to do with drugs, so that was interesting. Also interesting about the whole contractor bit and how that tied in with everything that happened. But yeah, everything made sense to me as far as the conclusion of the investigation into what actually happened. But I have to say that I am less than impressed with this one. I don't know what it is about it, but I had so many issues with it. You know, because you've been reading along with me, but all of those things piled up have made this experience not as enjoyable as I would have liked. I did enjoy the last couple chapters where we're seeing Bryn with her sister and her niece and them talking to their parents and then having Wes there. I also enjoyed that we get to see a glimpse of everything that's happened 1 month later. But when they mentioned that it was Bryn's investigating that helped seal the deal on the case, or something to that effect, my first initial thought was, what investigating did she do? I mean, I don't feel like she did do investigating. I feel like she stumbled on a lot of the stuff that she found out. I also feel like a lot of the information was uncovered by her friends, Wes, Willow, Schuler. So yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't really agree that she investigated. I feel like she mostly stumbled upon the information that she had gotten. I also didn't like her little comment about not calling the police after she had been attacked and bound up in her house. After everything that's happened to you and you didn't involve them, now you've personally been injured and you don't want to get the authorities involved. Like, I understand that she feels like they were brushing her off, but the things that had happened before didn't directly put her in danger. I mean, a taxidermied bird was put on her door. Somebody attempted to lay out a campfire and protected it so that it wouldn't spread to her field. They left trash out on her porch. I mean, those aren't harmful to her. I mean, the fire could have been, but they had specifically made mention that the person had, well, I guess it was Frank. I can say that now because we know. But that he had put stones around the fire that he was going to set so that it wouldn't spread. This was the first time that she was put into serious physical harm, and she doesn't want to call the police. I am glad that Shuler talked some sense into her. I definitely enjoyed Shuler and Willow as side characters, and I had mentioned before that I had enjoyed Wes. It's good to see that, 1 month down the line, he's definitely a quick learner like she thought he'd be. They're moving in the right direction for their business. So I have nothing but positive thoughts that their business will soar in future installments. That being said, I do not believe that I am going to continue with this series. There were too many issues in this book for me. A lot of it being the fact that I didn't connect with Brynn. I really dislike the fact that she's hung up on her ex-fiancé who cheated on her. The story didn't flow well for me. And I'm just generally not interested in her whole cheese making process. I'm not interested in how her artisanal cheese is made. I'm not really interested in anybody in town. I feel like there's going to be a romantic connection between her and Mike in the future. But yeah, I'm not curious about any of it. There were too many things, like I had mentioned in previous episodes, that made me have to reread sections to understand what was being said, to figure out what was being said. And that really dampened my experience with this book. I think I had mentioned earlier that they felt like speed bumps. Like I'd be on a roll and then all of a sudden something like that would come up and I'd have to stop, go back, reread. Wait, what? Go back, reread. And I don't enjoy reading experiences that are like that. So, yeah. I had mentioned at the start of this project that I might be interested in trying out another one of her series, which is part of the sampler that is in the back of this book. I believe it was called Assault and Beatery from her Cora Crafts mystery series, because I really enjoy crafting. But after having this experience with this book, I don't think that I will be checking that series out. At least not anytime soon. I think the reading experience for me would have definitely been better if I was able to listen to an audiobook copy, because I feel like that whole section where I couldn't figure out if Freckles was a girl or a boy because they kept using he and she in the same paragraphs when referring to Freckles, like that would have been corrected while they were recording. I also feel like any of the sentences where I didn't understand what was being said because of the way that it was compiled wouldn't have been an issue for me either, because hearing the sentence probably would have stuck better. I would have been able to understand what was being said. And again, as they were recording it, they would have fixed anything that was wrong with it. So, yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with this one. when I had first started reading, I thought that the author hadn't written very many books, but in looking at her list of other books and other series that she's written quite a lot. So I do like to give authors second chances and series second chances. But like I said, in the case of this series, I'm not very interested in the whole cheese making aspect. So this series probably isn't one for me, with how much she goes into detail about the flavors of the cheese being affected by what the cows eat and her process of milking the cows and what she does to age the cheese and clean the cheese and all of that. It's just not interesting to me. So I probably will give this author a try in the future. Probably not in the near future. But when I do, I would definitely like to try the book out on audio because I think that would work better for me. And yeah, so that's all I have to say on this book. I have already chosen January's Book Wine Cozies Club selection, so I will share that with you right now. That is going to be Murder in the Margins, the first book in an open book mystery series by Margaret Loudon. This did not come out of the Book One Cozies Club jar, but it is one that my mother had seen at the bookstore and picked it up for me because she thought that I'd be interested in it. This one was published in 2020, so it is a rather new release. It was released in October, so yeah. If you'd like to join me in January for Murder in the Margins, I will be doing a chapter by chapter for this one. I'll probably start it around the 10th. That's usually when I start my reads for Book One Cozies Club, so keep an eye out for the start of chapter by chapter. You can also join our Mystery Madness Goodreads group to be notified when the thread for that goes up and when I announce that chapter by chapter has started posting to my channel. Definitely let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this book and if you had figured out who the killer was or the motive for the murder. Also, let me know if you'll be joining me for Murder in the Margins in January. I would really like to know. Thank you for reading along with me, and I hope you're all having an amazing holiday season, and I will be back with you for another chapter by chapter in January. Take care, and smile always. Bye.